I find it all kind of interesting and very entertaining. See, back in 2009, Glenn Beck, when he was with Fox News, uh, encouraged secession, encouraged the Texans to succeed from the Union, and they want freedom and they'll succeed and da da da. Well, uh, here's the thing about it. Now, here we are in 2012, and I'm listening to Alex Jones talk about succession, talking about a cultural revolution, and he compared it to Mao. Mao, the, the, the Chinese guy that brought communism to China, that led one of the bloodiest, violent revolutions in the world. No, I don't think we need that, but uh, he took advantage of a economic depression, of chaos, uh, of allowing different little warring factions all throughout China to go ahead and fight amongst themselves, and he sat back and waited. And then when they were all weakened by killing off each other, then he swept in. Um, I don't know if that's what Jones had in mind, but it's a poor choice of words. It's really uh, threatening and instigative, and I just don't like it. Uh, Now, you got Alex Jones talking about wanting a new Declaration of Independence. I'm doubtful. But I do agree with him on certain key points, and I want to address these very shortly. I agree with him on the need for a cultural revolution. To be honest, we're living in the Xbox generation. Our generation is supposed to be Generation X. Well, this is Generation Xbox. Uh, Everyone is so used to seeing things through a filter and not actually going out and experiencing life. There's so much issues to it. We've put conveniency and possessions above human life and human dignity and our own mental and philosophical health, as well as our own physical health. Uh, I agree with them that we should remove ourselves from world politics. I've never liked the idea of the U.S. being the world police. I think it's kind of a joke. When they made that little puppet thing, that little movie with the little puppets, America World Police, or whatever the hell it was, that's basically how it is. We need to remove ourselves from that system. I don't think we need to be policing the world. I think we just need to sit back and let shit happen. If, you know, now, defending and protecting our allies, I think we should do. Um, if Israel and Palestine want to go at it, let them. If Israel and Iran want to go at it, I say let them. We just step back. Of course, if Russia gets involved, then I think we should get involved. Um, or China for that matter. Same thing with Iran. North Korea, same thing. If North Korea and South Korea want to go at it, let them do it. South Korea will dominate that fight. Uh, if China wants to get involved supporting North Korea, then I think we should get involved supporting South Korea. Um, but other than that, we should stay out of the world politics. We shouldn't be bailing out other countries. We should be trying to fix the problem here at home. And there's a lot of problems with our economy that we need to deal with, including the fact that the IRS says they don't have enough money coming in from taxes to pay out to the welfare projects. And this isn't just welfare projects for the poor, this is welfare projects for the rich. Uh, which is where we need to curve in government spending, which is another point that Alex Jones had that I agree with. Um, and we also need to rein in the abuses of government powers. I agree with him on that. The question is how. Uh, and this is where that whole Mao comparison I didn't like. Now, I could be wrong. If Alex Jones would get on here and clarify, that would be better. Um, but all in all, I don't think violence is the answer. I do find it a little entertaining to hear all this talk of succession and breaking away and everything else. Of course, at this point, this whole secessionist movement is nothing more than a protest. You don't file a petition requesting that the President of the United States allow your state to succeed. That's a bit like slaves asking the slave owner if they can go home. That's just not going to happen. Now, Glenn Beck, here we are in 2012, and Glenn Beck on his radio program goes about calling the secessionist proponents dumb, and using his Gomer Pyle voice mocks the whole affair, saying that you're putting your name on a list that goes to the White House and saying, yeah, I think we should succeed. I think there should be a civil war. Now, before that, he states that Glenn Beck says that 27 states, in 27 states, people petitioned for a peaceful succession. They sent a letter to the president and said, we want to peacefully leave the U.S. Okay, cool. It seems back in 2009, Glenn Beck was all gung-ho about the secessionist movement. And then now he's talking about how dumb these people are to send their names to the White House. How dare they? Now, granted, I mean, the Founding Fathers never did anything like, I don't know, send a Declaration of Independence to the King of England with their names on it, demanding to be free and declaring their freedom from the state. Yeah, you shouldn't do that. The fact of the matter is, I really don't think there's going to be much blowback from this. They might be put on some lists. We're on with preppers and survivalists and militia people here, all domestic terrorists. While we're at it, let's name conservatives and Republicans and, everybody else. Now, I think Glenn Beck is hyping up the secessionist protests. That's what they are, protests. In fact, I think Alex Jones is. I think Beck is scared that this will escalate. This is really important to bear in mind, because if this situation escalates, it's who escalates it that causes the problem. If you get some guy who gets a speeding ticket who jumps up and says, I don't have to pay this because I filed a petition to succeed from the United States of America, he's going to look like a nut job and he's going to get thrown in jail. If by some chance the police start harassing people, the federal government starts harassing people who put their names and information on these documents, on these pieces of paper, then it shows that the abuses of government power go to attacking political enemies. And that's going to escalate because more people are going to turn against the government. And yeah, there very well might be violence, but it's on the scale of how escalation goes. Most likely, I don't think Obama's going to acknowledge any of it. I think he's just going to kind of laugh it off and call it a protest and go home. Everyone has a right to protest, and that was their right to protest, and he's fine with that. And then just leave it at that. The funny thing about this is nobody's really looking into Glenn. Not Glenn. Actually, yes, Glenn Beck did mention this, as well as did Alex Jones. 10 days before the election, Obama's executed an executive order which expanded the Department of Homeland Security's reach into local police departments. So there's a possibility that the information everyone sent to the White House will trickle down to affect their lives, local police issues and problems and whatnot. And for all the fear-mongering and the warmongering that I think Glenn Beck was doing back in 2009, now that we're looking at the fear-mongering of this, and oh my God, they might be coming for you, it's kind of interesting. See, Glenn Beck got dropped off the airwaves of Fox due to other people protesting, complaining. They didn't like what he was saying. They didn't like his agenda. And right now, we're at an interesting little crossroads. See, for all the people who went and voted and patted themselves on the ass and said, yay, I voted, I did something for my country. Well, I did something for my country too. I joined the U.S. Army. I did my time, got an honorable discharge as an infantryman, came home. when all these people sit out here and vote and say, I did something for my country, I'm going to tell you something. You didn't do a damn thing for your country. First of all, your vote doesn't count. There's a small little thing called the Electoral College. The Electoral College is the people who vote and whose votes count. They are selected by legislature, or legislators, actually, uh, and they're the ones put in charge of the electoral votes that each state has based on population. Now, that being said, states with larger cities has denser population, and that can give them more electoral votes than other cities. So places like Chicago and New York and California, where you have not just one but several, Illinois, I'm sorry, not Chicago, but places like uh, California, where they have more than one major city, uh, Chicago, New York State, several of these major cities tend to have denser population. And if they're controlled by, of course, Democrats or Republicans, um, most likely most of them are controlled by Democrats, because Democrats have learned that if you control more of the denser population, you get more electoral votes. So they tend to congregate in states with denser populations. Uh, Now, because of this, most of the states actually uh, were there were more states that voted Republican than there were that voted Democrat. However, the denser population in key areas in the states which voted Democrat gave them a huge, vast majority over the other states. It wasn't simply a matter of geographical size of the state, but the population density of the state. Major cities, of course, have denser populations. All cities have more denser populations, but with more major cities, you have a larger area of dense population. Now, because of that, Obama was elected. Now, everyone can holler what they want about voter fraud, and there's a very good possibility the Democrats committed voter fraud, just like there's a very heavy possibility the Republicans committed voter fraud. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter because your vote doesn't count. What your vote does count for is the illusion of popular support. The illusion of popular support is the idea or the demographic of the state, which voted for whichever president, which gave the idea of who voted for what. So you always have the tendency for people to go along with the group think, the group ideology. If 51% of the group says that we should go left and 49 says right, what you get is everyone should follow the 51%. And we're at this point right now in our history of this country where the 51% said go left. Actually, I think it's closer to 52. And the other 48% said go right, which isn't. Now, I think the secessionist protest is going to escalate. I think it's going to escalate in a lot of ways. And I'm really paying a careful eye to the whole situation. But the interesting thing about this is that it's been blown up and expanded and dramatized by so many people that it's almost become cartoon-like. The fact of the matter is, with all the petitions signed by Texas, and Texas leading the country on people who signed a secessionist petition, only, as was reported to me, less than 1% is the total number of people who want to secede from the Union in Texas or signed a petition to do so. This is, well, it's drama, it's a way of acting out, but nothing's going to come of it. All the political mumbo jumbo, all the big shows and people decrying it and people, trying to expand on everything else. It's simply a matter of the political margins of this country. You have a certain group which is disenfranchised, and that's it. Now, compared to the riots which would have happened if Obama wasn't elected, people filing a petition to secede from this United States of America is pretty it's pretty lame. It's not some big violent act. It's nothing that's going to draw in very much attention. I'm amazed it's drawn the attention that it has. But it's not an act of violence. It's not an attempt for aggression or anything else, like Glenn Beck says. I don't think there's going to be any violence brought out from it. I don't think anyone's going to do anything. I simply think people are upset with the system. They were hoping that Obama would deliver the hope and change he promised the first time. Instead of falling back on the excuse, Bush did it first. Because if Obama's going to act just like Bush, and I didn't like Bush either, but if Obama's going to act just like Bush, then the hope and change you wanted was a lie. And that's the reality of it. That's our president, the one that the Electoral College, and not your vote or my vote, elected. We just added to that demographic to give the appearance of popular opinion.